Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully I am being heard. Just out here doing a little bit of watering. Hey, Jess. Happy Sunday. Oh boy, that means tomorrow's time to go back to work. But yeah, not much going on back here. I was doing a little bit of watering, kind of catching up. The fragrance is, I'm getting used to it. It is very overpowering and it is very musky. But honestly, over time, it has softened up. Yeah, I'm trying to do this before my Cowboys come on here shortly. But yeah, the fragrance isn't so bad now. I've gotten used to it. It's still very dank and musky, like shoe, but I guess perhaps that is what. Oh gosh, Eagles. I'll just save my comment for that. Hey Todd, how's it going? And hey, how's it going, Mick? Glad you all are watching. I was just thinking that how I unfortunately are more or less housing my orchids in the winter, whereas most people can fuss over them and give them better temperatures pretty much all year, so they stay growing all year. And I was thinking, well, geez, I'm lucky anybody even wants to see what's going on in here, because it's depressing. And well, not depressing, it's green. I should say it's green. Not a lot of color, but it's green. So thank you all for showing up. Finally found a spot for my big Gaton sunray that's out of the way. My angel's trumpet finally bit the dust. The part that I had mounted on it is a dead piece of wood, which is bad. The live part is over there, so it's just sitting on the ground over there with my Brassavolas and the other things that I mounted on it. So it's not going to be on there for much longer once that piece of wood just shrivels up to nothing. So that's something that I'm gonna have to deal with at some point. Yeah, I like the Silageny as well. I vow to give it better treatment. Well, oh, I know, Todd, I know. I would not, as you know, I could not be dealing with, I'm a wuss. I will admit it straight off. No snakes, no lizards, nothing jumping out at me when I'm trying to enjoy my orchids. No thanks. And this happened, me being clumsy, broke a whole inflorescence off. And also this, which I am really expecting it to do something, probably not until the spring. This is my, it's an Encyclia bacalis. And it gets white cluster of fragrant white flowers upside down, kind of like radiata, but it's pure white and it's fragrant. And when I got it at Andy's in the summer last year, it bloomed shortly after. But when I read the literature, it just typically doesn't bloom until late winter into spring. So I've noticed that it's been getting a lot of these growths with new roots coming out. And the growths are very, very healthy and strong. And this plant is in sheath, as you can see. I'm not sure if that's something starting in there or not, but stupid me, I picked it up by this, and there's a reason why it's not hanging and sitting on this rack, because of course it's not sturdy. But of course I picked it up to take a look at it and to water it, and it fell out of the holder, of course, onto the ground, and this happened with a sheath on it. So I'm not sure what growth. Oh, there it is right there. So anyway, that is what happens when you mess with your plants too much. And anyway, I should have known better. But yeah, it's pretty dry. Not dry, but dead out here. My Kiefer Stein crossed with Ecuadorensis. I still don't have my heater up there. I got a new heater, but the plug is different. So that is still work in progress. My big Stanhopea is over here. It's got these new growths. Hopefully it will do something. Wow, I was just saying, I thank everybody for showing up to my greenhouse. Not a lot of flowers going on. Some flowers that are going out though. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Found this sort of tucked away. Lost the tag on it, but I'll have to dig it up and see. Really thinking some of my Paphiopedilums are looking pretty good. They've got nice the new leaf growth. Looks like they may be putting up some blooms pretty soon. It's been about 2 years since they have bloomed. These are some seedlings that I got this year from Troy, from Let's Talk Plants. Shout out to Troy. Speaking of Troy, and Todd, you will be interested in this, but I'm sure you probably already know this. My Alexandria is doing really well. Let me answer that question first before I get to Todd. Here's my Alexandria. And I noticed today when I was watering it that it's got a new growth coming up at the base, which is great. I don't see any roots yet. Well, I don't see any green tips yet, but these roots do green up when I water it and soak it. And I tend to, I have been watering these every day, just letting them soak, like such. And you can see the roots turn green like Vanda roots do. And so that's what I think they like. And there's a new growth there, and this is the latest growth. And it's matured pretty good, pretty healthy. And it hangs up here high under this piece of cloth, which I'm going to remove. I'm slowly but surely going to remove them all. But Todd, what I was going to say was, let me see, I haven't thrown it away yet. You haven't. You know what this is. It's a dead orchid. But this used to be my epigeneum. And I noticed, actually now, presently, they have these on eBay. And there was one that I just won that was in spike, and I bought it for $30. Yeah, Treacherionum, I call it Leonzii. But yeah, Treacherionum, epigeneum, it's like a bucket list orchid, and even if however many I kill, I will continue to buy it, because one of these days I will get one that sticks. I almost think mounting is a better way. This was pretty much dead when I mounted it, so it was, but we will see how this one that I get. But speaking of that, they have 2 more that's on there right now. So just in case you're interested, because I know maybe a squirrel ate yours, Todd, I think, or something like that, or maybe you don't know. But this is dead, soon to be replaced. I should just throw it in the garbage. I don't know why I'm even bothering to hang it back up. This is my Angraecum germanianum that I bought. I was convinced into buying it Nats because I had resisted buying it previously because it's a cooler grower, and I was able to make it through the summer, and it's got a couple of things going on there. I don't know if they're going to be flower spikes because I've never bloomed one, so I have no idea what it looks like when it's getting ready to go into bloom. But I do know what this looks like. This is my, you know what this is, my glauca, Chrysavala glauca, Rhyncholalia. And this is the latest growth. It had many new growths on it. This one, there's one there, there's another one there. Here's a new growth. There's one there, and then there's one there, and then there's another one that's right here. But this newest growth over here, I did notice that, and this is, I am a very judgmental orchid grower. I want that too, Todd. Plectrophyllus, I want that bad. But I did notice, well, what I was saying was my pet peeve is when people peek in their vandas and the crevices and dig in there, because I just think that's the way to fuck it up, more or less. But here I am peeking through there, and you can see there's a sheath in there. So that's pretty special to me. If I get a bloom out of that, I'm kind of expecting this one to bloom as well. This one bloomed last year. So fingers crossed on that one. Yeah. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot. These little flower buds are still progressing on this little division that I took on my subulatum, my Angraecum. Surprise, surprise. But more or less, I've really been dealing with scale. That is my main thing that I've been doing for the last few weeks, and probably will continue to be doing that over the winter. Just trying to stay on top of that, because when my experience, if I have one plant that has scale, then they all have scale. That's the way that I look at it. So, and I have to really just, hate to say it all over again, but just be vigilant and keep on top of it, because I've dealt with having my collection infestated before, and it is hell trying to get rid of it, and I just don't want it to get to the point where it's unmanageable. So, because there was a time when I was just going to throw everything in here outside over the fence, because it was just, I had a moment where I just stopped in my tracks, because I realized that at one time I had a jasmine. Well, it's still up there. That used to be, well, no, it's a bougainvillea. You can see the vine that's back there up on the roof. The bougainvillea used to be, well, it's still up there. Hold on a second. But yeah, and at one time that bougainville, I swear to God, it was over. I had to cut it back because it covered up my roof where the sun couldn't come through. And one year, this was probably about 10 years ago, one year I came out here and I looked on the stems of my bougainville and it had scale all over it. And as I looked, as my eye traveled the whole length of the bougainville, I saw scale. And granted, like I said, it was covering all up in here, and I have plants up here. And the bougainville is intertwined, going up and down the, the hangers. And so I completely had a moment, an epiphany, that I was going to one day be overtaken with this scale, and I was going to throw all the plants out because it would just be too much. I seriously saw that. But in the same moment, I said to myself, I've got to take charge, because I really didn't want to do that. But I really was almost at that moment, at that point where it just seemed like it was just too much. So I'm sure a few people have felt like that. I've heard Margaret have moments like that where she's just felt like the scale is just taking over. So I hope not to ever get to that point of hopelessness, because I do enjoy these plants, being around them and taking care of them. But bugs are not a joke. Anyway, I'm not sure what time it is, but I just saw it's probably about time for my game to come on. So I should probably click off. Let me show you if I can get back there. Well, I don't mean depressing, but I tune into other people's videos. Todd, for instance, he can go outside in his yard and see a plentiful array of orchids blooming. Whereas, I know that my orchids are alive, but there's no flowers, not a lot. And Roger's another one. When you tune into his channel, you're going to see a lot of color. When you tune into mine, you're going to see a lot of green. So I thank you all for thinking that this green is interesting. So that's all I got to say about it. Anywho, well, you always say that, Todd, and then I'll see your video tomorrow. And I know that your epidendrum right here is in full bloom. Mine never rebloomed like yours did, and yours is still blooming. Yeah, scale is something. The only thing I've stopped using my mechanical measures as far as, I use a toothbrush to get all in the crevices of the pseudobulbs. That's the only thing that I can use, and I try to use it very lightly as I try to rub the scale out in between like the leaf axils and these areas and all down on top of this area down here. There's no amount of stream of water that can get down there, and I know that you all have seen scale like down in there. The only thing that you can get to get that out is something mechanical. A Q-tip maybe, but Q-tip is a little too gentle, and my feeling is some people frown at me as far as using, it's usually a baby toothbrush. Yeah, it's extra soft. And I was going to say, people have frowned on me for doing that, but my feeling is leaving that scale on there does more damage than me trying to rub that scale off with that soft toothbrush. So, what's the better alternative? Which is the better solution? I don't know. I'll choose to get the stuff out with a baby toothbrush every day. And I've got a sink full of things. And in fact, I'm going to do a video on a plant that I just found that is infested with scale. to the point that it's inside of the sheaths and it's all over. I mean, it's like scale on top of scale. And I'm going to do a video on how I thoroughly clean that out, how I do it, and how I feel comfortable even after I do what I do to it, not even putting it in isolation, but just bringing it back into my collection, because I have to do that as much as I can or as fast as I can in the wintertime, because I want them to keep the humidity inside the house. In the summertime, I can do that, but in the wintertime, it's very dry in my house. So, you know, I have to try to keep them out here as much as I can in the wintertime especially. So, this is my other little angraecum that Nat's convinced me to talk, and I haven't talked. Nat's convinced me to buy this summer, and it's still alive. Those two little buds have not, looks like they're browning, so, but the plant looks like it's still alive. We'll see. This is my first attempt at Angraecum dideri mounted. I've killed every one in a pod. Of course I've killed it, otherwise they would still be alive. And this is my mother plant of my subulatum, the one that I got this piece off of. So yeah, actually I'm seeing the Bears game is still on in there. It looks like the Bears are winning 19-14 over the Giants. They better beat the Giants. The Giants suck this year. Sorry if there's any Giants fans. Hey Todd, thanks for showing up, and I'll look forward to your next video. And I'm gonna piss off too, guys. Excuse my French. I will make a very good effort to do an update on my whole collection, because I should be walking back there to show off my Angraecum superbum, which has been in spike. It actually is starting to form the flowers on it. Not the flowers, but the buds. So other than that, I just really need to do a whole collection update, because I haven't done one of those. And I think I'm gonna be getting some flowers on this. Pardon my light, but I think I am gonna be getting some flowers on this, which is, looks like that is the start of a flower spike right there. That is my George Tyler times Grassavala cucullata. And I think there's another sheath that has something else coming out of it too. So that would be exciting. My Brassavolas didn't do crap for me this summer. All right, everybody. That's it. Thanks for showing up, and enjoy your orchids. Bye.